Well, good afternoon. Has it already been 2 hours since the last match between relkin and Humbug, basically fighting it out for one of the very coveted spots in the finals for a Link to Fast Randomizer Ladder Open Invitational? This is the last week of groups. And based on the last match between relkin and Humbug, Humbug was able to secure his first spot in the finals, and basically just kind of watching this essentially elimination match between relkin and Eri, who is going to have the privilege of being able to face Humbug in the finals. Eri and relkin, of course, very, very decorated and accomplished runners. Eri, of course, world record holder for NMG with a 123 time. Actually, just won game one of his top 32 match earlier this morning. relkin, SGL 2020 Casual Boots champion. These guys know how to go fast. And of course, this is basically the elimination match of the semifinals. Who better and more qualified to be able to commentate this match than Matt7898, 124.05 PB NMG, securing his own spot in the top 32 of the main tournament yesterday, and SGL 2021 Casual Boots champion. This is going to be a really exciting race caused by a really very qualified commentator. Matt, how's it going? Ready to go?
Thank you. What an introduction. Yeah, this is great. I think everybody except relkin was kind of glad to see the result of the last race.
Yeah.
That way, this is just a winner take. I really didn't want to watch Eri try to win by 7 minutes. That was not as interesting to me, but just having it as who can cross the finish line first will get a trip to the finals. One of the best prizes in Rando. You can get yourself, what do we got? It's like an FX Pack Pro or something that you can win. That's pretty sweet. That's a very valuable piece of hardware right there. So I'm sure both of these guys would like to get their hands on that, and should be a really interesting race.
Oh, heck yeah. You actually did mention this before. Yeah. In fact, I believe you're absolutely correct, right? Especially from like a viewers, commentators perspective, right. If relkin had, in this case, taken a win over Humbug, and by the way, it was an incredibly close race. I think the difference was 17 seconds, that eventually Humbug at the end, Blaine Router fans, that was your moment to shine, basically. But if both in this case had taken it, Eri would have to take some serious creativity in terms of his routing, whatever he can do in order to kind of overcome his initial loss of 7.5 minutes difference over Humbug. So, but now, because in this case Humbug kind of squeaked out that win, not only does he have a spot in his finals, this resets the slate for both relkin and Eri. And whoever in this case, as you said, crosses the finish line first, is going to be able to have a couple more ladder matches in their near upcoming future.
Yeah. So after this, the winner is like a best of 3 against.
It is a best of 3. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Very cool.
Yes. So in fact, actually, right. So we started, top 16, and you had to qualify in order even to get in top 16. You had to play at least 10 Open Plus Invitational matches from the last season. So actually, quite a lot of, in this case, like frequency and experience. So these guys, of course, have more than they've played Open Plus quite a bit at this point. And then within groups, it's going to be it was 6 matches each per person, because they had to play one per person. You know what? All right, we're off. We have a Moon Pearl already in Sanctuary, so I guess no bunny shenanigans today.
You see both guys going with the Sank start. You got Pendant Desert, 5/6 Crystal at Hera, and a normal Crystal at Eastern. That's, nothing too much to write home about there. Both of them, I guess they played a million matches at this point, remembering that these are actually pseudo boots and not actual boots.
That's right. Yeah.
I think I saw everybody make mistakes when this first started. It looks like relkin's setting up another either tier 2 or tier 3 tree pole potentially in the Lost Woods after seeing that arrows. So one of the big differences with pseudo boots instead of regular boots is that you can't bonk the rocks by the fortune teller shop. So you actually have to find bombs kind of the old-fashioned way. Looks like Eri is abandoning the village play, getting a glove out of Link's house, which is interesting. And he's probably going to go south route. to farm some bombs below the grove, or maybe just grab one there because you got a glove. That's very convenient.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's very often, later on, especially maybe like mid-game after you get the glove, it's like, oh yeah, there's a 50-50 rock, like, right in front of Link's house, and you know what? As check number 2, or whatever, 3, on Aries' side, it's pretty convenient to be able to get a bomb. Good, I guess maybe the one, this is gonna be actually a bit of more divergence, gonna go check Sahashla, because, again, you said pseudo boots, right? We are going to need that one bomb in order to get back here. We cannot bonk our way over. In this particular case, relkin definitely avoiding that shield, but you know what? Freaking Eri gets rewarded with not only the flippers, but with our first sword so early. Dude, we don't have to stop for anything.
Yeah, it's very convenient. See, relkin's going to try and, I guess he has nothing to kill that bird with, so he's not going to be able to farm more bombs. It's only Eri who has the sword. Yeah, so after getting that sword, now Eri obviously has the option to completely avoid Kakariko until he does, I guess, what's going to look like a full trip through the castle here as well. I'm assuming he'll probably do maybe so sure anyway. He did get those flippers though, so it might make you think about changing your order depending on what your rupee count looks like. But he's just kind of hoping to get either Dark World access or maybe a flute before going to Kakariko. Would be very convenient for him.
Yeah, so actually, so Matt, like, we already have a pearl, we already have gloves. Like, I mean, if you get a hammer, are you just going to Dark World, like, before South Shore potentially?
Maybe, yeah. You could do like a quick hype cave to catfish, or maybe to dig game if you can actually get any rupees at all. Because he's got 0 right now, but it kind of really depends on your resource situation and what you find here in Escape. This is good. We got early divergence already, which is always nice. Poor Relkin did not find any bombs in Blind's Hut. He is going to probably check the back of the tavern, and if he gets nothing there, he's got 50, so he can buy some anyway. Yeah. But this does kind of run the risk of him isolating that bottle vendor. But we'll see what he can get out of the rest of these Kakariko checks.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of a good thing that he ended up kind of scrounging up 50 rupees. Like, I mean, Kakariko doesn't even have to be that generous, right? 50 rupees, as you said, bottle vendor might be a bit of a concern, but we have a lot of checks now because, we can afford some bombs, and hopefully something else in this case will show up for Relkin. Although, and you mentioned divergence, I'm not actually sure how often I've seen Eri kind of go over to, like, the uncle, effectively start, but, with that sword, oh man, talk about resources. Front of Escape's already got, 300 rupees from Eri, so he should not have basically any real trouble, I guess. So if you, once he eventually kind of wanders over to Kakariko, 300 also puts you pretty close to Zora. Certainly going to be kind of like a thought. So of course, with pseudo boots, you can't water walk, but we do have real flippers. But I think Eri hopefully might be trying to think about, getting over there like a little bit faster.
Yeah, we get a nice bottle here in the well. So this mode does limit the number of bottles you can get, as well. You'll always find them empty. So Eri opting to save and quit. It is quite likely at this point that Dark Cross is either the key or the map. So you don't really want to go there for nothing.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's certainly a good point, right? Because we got the pearl as the very first check of the sanctuary chest, and we basically got all 3 items in the front of Escape. So, right, like we're kind of just missing a little bit. You know what? Forget about money issues because Sick Kid also has 300. Apparently, I don't know what Dunka has been like giving this kid, but there is something like he must be a really good entrepreneur.
That's really good for Relkin, right? That immediately solves his bottle vendor problem. And like, it was very likely he would find Dark World access somewhere and be able to get that. But if the hammer was there, he would have been in trouble. So this is good. Good for him.
Did he go to bottle vendor out of curiosity? He must.
Yeah, he doubled back. Yeah, it was just $20.
Okay.
So Eri binds some bombs and going straight to Hobo. I wonder if he'll save and quit and do South Shore before going for the rest of the flipper checks. Yeah, that makes sense. He had to buy bombs anyway, so he might as well just knock out Hobo. It like slightly more convenient.
Yeah, I guess especially if you can kind of like split up your water checks, right? And just because typically speaking, if you can, I guess you kind of have to pick right between like Hobo and Zora, just because both of them are kind of like good stopping points, especially without kind of like a like a faster water walk to get out of one way or another. You probably just if you're gonna make 2 trips, you may as well just do that.
Yeah, and so we got a shovel somewhere which is nothing, so we can forget about that.
Well? Yeah, it was in the wild, really was nothing. Oh man, Relkin, taking that glove. I think maybe this is immediate backup escape.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's like, like he doesn't have great options, right? You want to go fight mini Moldarms with bombs. You want to do a bomb escape. None of
Oh
that's
yeah,
appealing
that's
to him right now. 'Cause he hasn't gone to the hospital yet, so he can. There's a lot of good stuff he can find back here, and plus he can get information back here, knowing he'll know if he goes, "Ooh, nice mitts,
Yeah.
Duncan
Oh
there,
man.
interesting."
Yeah. We've okay. Well, we have our Dark World access basically at the 6-minute mark. I mean, this is basically fresh out of escape at this point. Holy cow. And yes, just answer a quick question. And so this is basic. I'm not sure if this is finals or not, but this is basically semifinals. Eri and Relkin are fighting for their spot basically in the finals. Humbug's already advanced within this group. And right now, it's whoever wins between Eri and Relkin, that is the second person who's going to be in finals next week.
This would be interesting here. So Relkin's probably not going to get. Although if you have missed Dark World access, oh, there's a hammer
my
too.
God,
So I guess there's
and
another sword.
Oh
All
my
right,
dude, this seed is so freaking generous. We've got a lot of, I mean, like kind of missing that mirror basically. Like, I mean, we've got basically full Dark World access, right? And all of the conveniences, right? We have myths for that really kind of like pesky, Kakariko Village of Outcasts Dark World portal, but we can also, we can basically go anywhere, right? I think like the seed before, it was a very, very late hammer in Mire with a Bombos entry from Pyramid Fairy. I mean, so like, mid Dark World access kind of, is pretty terrible. But I mean, in this case, they can basically go everywhere.
Yeah, so yeah, super wide open. I don't think Ari's going to do flipper checks right now. No, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to do. It looks like Rel's going to split up the South Shore, try and get a Gina check in. And there's a lot of people do this. This is a very reasonable play. With pseudo boots too, you get a quick check of the ledge as well, which is slightly cut off on our screen, but I'm sure Relkin knows was there.
All right, okay, yeah. So hopefully in this case, yeah, I guess we're gonna be surprised if we ever get like kind of like a better view of that. But yeah, meanwhile though, Eri, I think you mentioned this earlier. Oh man, we got Pendant Turtle Rod, we got Pendant Skull Wood. That was a green pendant, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some potential here for do we not need the Fire Rod potentially?
Potentially, yeah. And the other 5/6 was
Never mind. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
We got there. We still may not need it. This is still a valid point.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, of course, GT Vicky can be on like the right side of GT or something like that, right? We know that is going to be at least a logically required, Fire Rod. Fire Rod, of course, also going to be pretty nice, pretty potent offensive weapon, just because everything kind of burns in one shot, pretty much. Never really going to turn this down, but it does kind of open up the option, I guess, of, Pendant Skull Wood.
It's a little monk-ass here for Relkin. He doesn't have that blue mail, and he's got to kill these Moldovers with bombs, and he doesn't have the sword.
If he can get through it, he's going to be pretty well rewarded, but holy cow, these Moldovers
You just got to get one down, and usually you can just, like, hold the bomb, and, okay, this should be on track now. All right, he's got 3 to kill those two.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
And they're hanging out together. All right, crisis averted. And so he's going to get his full bounty here, and we will be on track again. I got to point out, though, Eri, 0 chest turns in Hype Cave, so we're going to have a conversation. Oh, so that was the other male in Mini Moldon Cave as well, because I'm pretty sure Eri found his in Escape somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. We can only pick up to blue mail, and everything. The red mail, I guess, is replaced by like 5 rupees. And of course, Eri making kind of an early play with that one bomb that he farmed after the glove, and from his house, going over to Sahajra, he is going to have a 1-sword advantage, especially kind of like early on to Relkin. Offensive wise, right? The sword actually can be pretty powerful, especially when we come to like certain bosses.
Yeah, so both of them only finding one. They both found different 300 packs, but nobody got 2 of them, so we're not going to see any Zord checks. We see Eri picking up the Smith here, so that means he's kind of opting into not doing Thieves right now, which is fine. He can get back here pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that's potentially true. Oh man, nice 100 by the way from the chess game. I mean that the first chess is always random, but it's whenever you get something nice, just like some more money, you're definitely not going to turn it down. And yeah, as you said, right, like, because, like, the frog is kind of, like, with us, he might do the front 4, I guess, I'm not sure. Looks like he kind of is at least avoiding for now, but yeah, he's definitely not going to finish Thieves Town. Unless, of course, he wants to give up the Smith. But given that he already kind of has him along, nice pseudo bog there, I guess. The fact that we don't have a mirror kind of makes it more difficult. So it's certainly going to be kind of a return trip.
Yeah, so we got hammer bags. You can still item dash with pseudo boost, which is nice.
Yeah, you just need a sword. So yeah, pseudo boost definitely affords you all the movement that boost that boost gives you. I would also like to point out, by the way, that Relkin also did 0 chest turns, so
It's like, what
not
is this like?
really. Yeah.
Are we not friends, guys? Like,
No,
what?
I guess we're not. No, no. I mean, I think that you need to give him a lecture after this.
Eric coming in from the south. Is this faster? I guess it is.
To turn into Smith, I guess I would have to assume so, but again, this is something that I don't know if anyone has actually timed.
All right, looks like Relkin doing a very similar kind of path as Eri here.
Yeah, I think nothing really of note though here in South Dark World. Eri, I don't know if that was. Oh, maybe he never checked race game. Oh, he's never been down here to begin with. I think, right?
Yeah, Eri never went to Kakariko.
Yeah, that's right. He never came to Kakariko. Oh man, they're like, what a divergence. That's right. I was like, why is he checking race game? We know there's nothing there. Oh no, he has. This is his first time over. So actually, this might actually be his opportunity then to go turn in Sick Kid as well. So he's going to basically be well over like the 500 mark, plus with some pod money, as well, in addition to whatever other else maybe he wants to spend buying a potion, for example, right? Certainly because of this kind of like modified hard item pool, bottles are never going to come filled in this case. They do have 1 to their name, and while I don't want to bring up any mimic clipping memories on Aries' side, he does have the option of maybe buying a potion to try to get into pod a little bit further in. I think by the way, he has kind of resolved some of his mimic clip issues. So but of course, if you have a potion, it's probably faster.
Yeah, for sure. This is a very convenient route for Eri because he's already done all the south stuff, right? He can just do this, go right back into the portal, and even like start in Skull Woods and then end after Thieves Town and do the purple chest. Because he's in a mirror, right? There's no graveyard ledge, whatever other shenanigans, temptations. So this is the save and quit out of the Lost Woods and getting that sword out of Sahasrara, very convenient.
Yeah. You talk about no other temptations. I agree. There is nothing of note in North Dark World whatsoever. It's definitely not going to be worth our time.
No, well, listen, I'm not one to step into a man's house and shit on his beliefs. So these guys want to go into Skull Woods. It's a great play, and I recommend it.
It's only what Relkin is going to kind of show us whether or not this is in fact a Douglas tournament. It is a pendant, of course, and Relkin, if he does choose to go back to Macula, not going to be getting the end of the world. He does have a hammer. He did, I think, Fighter Sword, just pure Fighter Sword with Fire Rod earlier this morning against Humbug, so it's certainly very capable. But of course, he is, in this case, still on Fighter Sword, versus, if I guess Eri, if he decides to do this, will at least be on Master Sword. So certainly, still going to be quite the challenge.
Yeah, we got 6 hearts, and it'll be tough for him to actually have 6 hearts when he's going into Moth, given his current health situation.
I can certainly see maybe potentially like he just wants that vanilla big key chest, actually showing in this case quite nicely done that he is a very also accomplished NMG runner himself. I was actually wondering if he just wants to do vanilla big key chest and then kind of do the front, but looks like Relkin still pretty aggressive, going straight to the back. Probably something, that he is thinking about when he's facing Eri.
Yeah, if you're gonna go in there, you kind of have to go to the back. It's much more likely for items to be on Mothula than anywhere else in the dungeon because Mothula can't have any of the 3 small keys. So if you're gonna come in here, you're usually saving time. Plus, it's a green pendant, going right back there.
Speaking of small keys, we have a lot of them apparently. Relkin, that's right. Death Warping Shrine on Blue Man. All right. So of course, what are the rods or what are the first items that we get? Because after we do a map check, Pendant Turtle Rock, Pendant Skull Woods, we get the Fire Rod and Hype Cave and Ice Rod here in the front of Thieves Town. Of course, why not?
Yeah, interesting.
All right, so far Ice Rod. Ari's gonna full clear this place for sure. It's gonna be a 5/6 crystal in addition, so certainly potentially might have Pyramid Fairy implications. Certainly though, so we have Ice Rod, Big Key, Compass, And I guess, the counting of items potentially, could indicate that if we end up getting everything, we may not have to go visit the big chest.
So see this fight, Relkin opting for these spin into hammers. That is, in my opinion, the best way to do it, especially if you still have a couple fire rod shots left.
Yeah, and Relkin doesn't blue mail, so everything is going to do 1 heart of damage, spikes and moth included. He did drop down with only 3. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, was good. He knew what he was doing because he got a slash and 2 hammer hits. And he had 3 fire rod shots left. That was really well played by him. That he knew that he could just stay down there and do that.
Oh man, this is pretty much what you're expecting here for basically the semis facing off and trying to get to the finals. Yeah, that was Moth definitely got a bit close, but I mean again, like I think he only lost like 1 heart in that fight as well. So really really well done on Relkin's side. I would also assume it's kind of like a confidence booster as well, especially early on. You do like a pretty aggressive play. Well, the Mothula himself didn't have like anything; he just had the map, right? To be able to kind of do that, especially on like this like lowish percent equipment, certainly does kind of like I guess it shows a little bit more promise. I guess like for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, well, Relkin's very confident in the way he plays. He's very good. Like, I think Relkin is actually quite underrated in terms of how good he is. Like, Aries obviously the NMG world record holder and has the best execution in the game, but Relkin is very, very good. Like, he got his NMG time down faster than anybody I've ever seen. So it's like he's given up time to Aerie, yeah, but it's not that much. I don't think he needs to alter his strategy that much at all. Like based on execution.
No, you're definitely correct. I mean, like Relkin also has a very low 125 time as well. I mean, it definitely shows here for execution. I was not paying attention if we found the map yet. I think at this point it is 50-50, so Aerie probably needs to go check this chest.
Relkin hiding at the top. I don't think anybody do that, but I guess it doesn't matter where you go. You got time.
Yeah, always.
Oh, come on, Relkin. You can do that early ball. All right, well done.
All right, okay, well, looks like it was 6 bombs total in the front of Skull Woods. But Relkin does have the green pendant, so that value is TBD. We have seen in this case, at least early on this morning, Relkin, I think, basically refuses to set foot or in the area of Eastern Palace without that bow. So potentially won't necessarily see a potential green pendant turning quite as early.
Yeah, and unless there's something of note on blind, I really would expect Aerie to. Is he off script? This is world record. Oh, no,
he did get hit, but he's just trying to maybe give blind a handicap. That's all. Didn't even need the Kataberta, by the way. That's kind of sitting out there in his Y item spots.
Listen, but shows we can all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, I fully expect Aerie to fully clear Skullwoods too. He did not get anything here that is enough to pull him away, although the fact that he's going to get the purple chest makes me think he's thinking somewhat differently. Like, he does have Ice Palace without Hookshot or Cane, which sounds terrible, and like Pod and Eastern without the bow. There's not a whole lot going on in his options here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he is trying to wait out, I guess, for North Dark World for, I don't know, Amir, maybe? Real boots? I guess I'm not quite sure. But I mean, also, like, Mirrorless Purple Chest sequence is pretty terrible. It's certainly a lot of save and quits, and maybe Aerie thinks this is going to be like kind of like the best opportunity to
yeah, but like, if this is nothing, what does he do? He's obviously going to check Agina, but like, I don't. Okay, I'm very curious to see what his next decision will be. And even for Relkin, for getting the green pendant, he hasn't even gone to hospital yet, right? He doesn't have
that's correct.
So he'll be able to turn everything in one shot. I did not know there was a heart there in Thieves Town.
But don't you play Inverted?
Dude, I need hearts. Come on, there's plenty of hearts. Yeah, Thieves Town's easy. It's Skull Woods.
Right, okay. I see someone is too good to. Yeah, so someone definitely has not died to blind a bunch of times.
Listen, it's Key Sandy in the main term. It's hard to get back
that's definitely true. All right, Relkin looks like trying to make that dash and doesn't quite end up getting it, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean he survived that hell way pretty well.
Oh, Ari hasn't done this yet, right?
Oh yeah, Eri has not done Back of Escape. I think, actually, I'm trying to remember what we
south
mentioned
and north,
here.
right? This was,
Yeah.
I think, a whole lot of nothing.
Yes, we did not get anything. I'm trying to remember what...
And I believe we know the map is in Dark Cross, I think. We'll find out.
Yes, the map is in Dark Cross, correct.
Okay. All right, Eric, where are you going to go? I'm very curious to see what decision he makes right now. Oh, he's starting at Sanctuary. This tells me he's just either going to get a couple mountain checks in or actually is going to Skullwoods.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing else really over here. We don't have real boots, so no boots checked. I'm trying to remember if he's done Lumberjack check as well. I think only Relkin had done that. And Eri just kind of went basically straight over to Lost Woods. So this might be basically a mountain trip. Lost Woods check into mountain. Yeah, no mirror, no hook shot means that we basically can just rescue the old man still out of logic. We can take a peek at what's on top of Spectacle Rock, and we can get inside what is inside Spectacle Rock Cave. That's kind of it.
In Spike Cave, too.
Where's
that Cane of Burna? Was that in Thieves' Round? I don't remember.
No, that was early. It was...
Might have been the castle then, because Relkin...
Yeah, it was in front of Escape. I think. Man, where the heck was it?
Okay, so now the big question is like, where does the game want these guys to go? Like, I mean, there's Ice Palace, but you really don't want to go to Ice Palace right now. It's just such a terrible experience with this equipment loadout. It makes sense why Ari's like going into not the greatest set of out of logic checks to instead of doing his in logic crystal, just because the equipment set is so poor for him. So I see how Relkin's blind script looks tip top right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, getting cabbaged.
A little bit better. Okay, yeah, so correct. So Cane of Burna actually was on Hobo. So that is a check that in this case Relkin has not done just because we don't have the flippers yet from Saha. Oh, those are silvers. Yeah, I think those are probably worth grabbing for Eri.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're going to find a bow. Hopefully he does the cool hundo bomb jump where you like hold it above your head. I really want to see that.
Well, that's right, because that's right. You mentioned, we have Spike Cave available to us, so Eri certainly does have some amount of incentive to come back over here.
Oh yeah, this is the good stuff right here.
Oh, dude, look at that! That's beautiful, right? Just so smooth. It's just no hitching, no pausing, no hesitation. Just gets right over.
Yeah, it's like I don't even understand how good Eri is. Like it's like really hard to comprehend how you can play the game that well. It is it's really amazing to see. All right, Spike Cave. Let's see what you got here. Looks like Relkin's going to clean up the rest of the Smith chain, and then I think he's got a slightly easier decision. Eri throwing a bomb down.
Wow! Yeah, just save himself a little bit extra. Holy
that cow, is massive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, so Relkin and Eri both have bottles. It's not slightly that convenient in order to go pick up a potion, so they can technically like sequence break it. That Cane of Burna though from Hobo, where basically Eri kind of was more incentivized to go visit after Saha from the flippers. It certainly basically pointed Eri to a very good direction. Yeah,
and so Relkin hasn't done any of the flipper checks, but he still only has 310 rupees though. So like it might the Death Mountain is quite unattractive for him. Like the Body Eastern area is much more lucrative. He's got that green pendant that's probably weighing on his mind as well.
Yeah.
And so like this is one of those situations where you hope he's just not tracking down a lamp in Pendant Eastern to get all this in logic, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I mean, so keep in mind though, we are still right. I guess right. Like in terms of like trying to keep everything or put everything back in logic. Yeah, the lamp being in Pendant Eastern certainly could be like the one thing because right now we're still out of logic. Speaking of, so Eri basically is Master Sword Silvers at this point. Got a little bit more cash to his name as well. Holy cow. Eri definitely hit a very nice route so far. Oh, that was Bombos on the island. Potentially needed, mainly just for Meyer. As an entry, I guess we don't know that quite yet, just because we already had that early Fire Rod.
Yeah, so like this is not great for Relkin. I mean, Relkin kind of wants to see like a flute here on Zosful or something. But he won't be too far behind getting to those checks, but he really has no reason to go to the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just got the flippers. Maybe he'll save and quit here and do the flipper checks, and that will lead him to it.
Well, right. I mean, kind of like after this though, like you know, he does the flipper checks. I'm not really sure if he has many more options, I guess, available to him. Like, I mean, he can do, you know, Crystal Eastern without the bow. I have no evidence though that Relkin is willing to dip Eastern Palace versus Hobo, or go up the mountain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I haven't watched Relkin play a ton of Rando, but I have in my head that he prefers to stay in Logic a little bit more than maybe some other runners.
I see. Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see where this logical Death Mountain access is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eri actually, you know, potentially actually seeing, you know, feeling that getting the hook shot, right, from Spike Cave was actually a pretty, you know, massive advantage for him. He is actually going to sit through Hair Basement in this particular case. Probably just doesn't want to take any chances in order to try and, like, you know, leave, in this case, like an item behind, because he probably already feels that hook shot is already a pretty good play.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely is. I would say he's definitely feeling good right now. Like his row was very efficient in the early game.
Yeah. All right. Well, Relkin, you know, one aggressive play after another. We're diving Ice Palace right now. Holy cow! You didn't. Yeah, I mean, well, we have a bunch of equipment to do so. You know, but you did mention, you know, no hook shot, no cane of Samaria. It does not make Ice Palace super appealing. But I think, you know, Relkin's probably thinking this is going to be another, you know, dungeon I could potentially get through, and you know, again, facing off, you know, as a winner-take-all match versus Eri, you know, this might be something, you know, especially if he finds something good here, right? That could really help him out.
Yeah, and like none of Relkin's options are appealing, right? And this is a clear book. I mean, there could just be a cane in here, right? That's allowed.
Oh yeah,
100%. And he's probably not feeling spectacular about. Oh no, Eri.
Almost.
You remember, right?
Yep.
He bomb jumped there because he cannot bonk back, and I think everybody who played in this, I did it. I've seen so many people just drop down and bonk into the pit.
Yeah, no, I mean that was a very kind reminder on himself, right, for Eri basically to kind of save himself like 50 seconds of falling.
Yeah, the other thing, and Relkin knows that he did a green pendant skull was for nothing. Oh
my gosh! Oh my gosh! Yeah. Speaking of, all right, so Eri was able to prevent himself from falling, you know, because of that jump, but he was not able to, you know, have any save with what Moldor had in mind. Man.
All right, looks like he's back on track.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah. Speaking of more NMG, man, you know, again, you know, the fluidity of the movement between Relkin and Eri, right, is just so smooth, right? You know, he didn't even have to like really kind of like set up, I would say, the Ice Palace bomb. Just kind of like walk basically on that pixel, place the bomb down, and over he goes. Like, jeez.
Relkin doing spins. Come on, man. You know the T-bomb in this room. What is this? You got 3. What are you gonna? How many bombs do you need to use in Ice Palace? Like, I know you don't have a hook shot, but I guess he could potentially need to use 2 to bomb over to the right side and bomb the. So okay, fine. He's forgiven.
Oh, well, I guess we'll see. I think he's also going to try and get a couple more items. Speaking of, though, nothing really of value, basically, inside Terra Terra in terms of items. It was, what, like, some amount of rupees and, like, bombs or something like that. Although, that does give also Eri a 5/6 crystal completion. And so, potentially, you know, Pyramid Fairy also, you know, might be on the table for Eri, kind of after the mountain trip. But, man, like, that hook shot, man, it is basically opened up, like, pretty much everything. At this point. No mirror, of course, currently, so they can't really conveniently kind of go through light and dark worlds, but, you know, Eri pretty much is doing, you know, massive cleanup of the light world, and kind of before heading over to Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, if Eri finds a mirror on Dark Death Mountain, he is in business for sure, because it makes it so easy for him to get that Pod Eastern play done, and he can do the Pyramid Fairy and do a bunch of stuff. Like, Relkin is getting in kind of worse and worse shape as this goes on, but we haven't seen the next step of progression, right? It's obviously there's stuff on the mountain. The bow is massive for Eri, as well as the hook shot. But this mirror location, if this mirror is an ice palace, then we could have, because Relkin needs something to draw him up the mountain, right? He's got not a whole lot to do there right now.
Yeah, and right now, like, especially for, you know, overworld locations, right? Like, Relkin has basically just been straight shotting dungeons. Probably might be part of the strategy. And so, right, like, we kind of need something else in order to kind of draw him to some more non-dungeon locations. Yeah, and speaking of, I mean, you know, in terms of what else do we need? We definitely need that mirror, as you said. Swamp Palace is a crystal. There's a, you know, really nice Canis Maria there in Hookshot. Oh, so okay. We haven't seen what the entry for Turtle Rock is. Matt, are you going in? If it's
he can't. He doesn't have the mirror. He didn't open it, did he?
Oh no, you're right.
He went in the bottom portal.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. Never mind then. I guess it's not going to be on the table for Eri.
It is either too. He might be a little upset with himself about that. I don't know. Did he like? It's so hard to like, because now it is gone. Like you're gonna be a while before you get to. What was that?
That was the flute inside Ice Palace.
There we go. That is colossal. That is like, he absolutely needed that, because that is going to draw him up the mountain now. Like that is a massive out for him.
Man, and we're also going to be able to check out like what's of course in the Mire area, but you know, so yeah, I can definitely see Relkin after Ice Palace, you know, beating out Cold Stare, you know, going activate the flute, maybe do a quick Mire area check, you know, before kind of heading up the mountain. But yes, like we know basically, you know, everything in the mountain. Well, even pre-mountain is basically locked by the hookshot, and the hookshot is a spike cave.
This is a terrifying fight. Those bottles are empty, right?
Yes, correct. He has not gone over to buy any potions, and so Relkin is on Blue Mail. Oh my god!
Blue Mail ain't helping him against those puffs right now.
Yeah, but so he is still a little bit protected from the falling icicles. Relkin's doing a really nice job trying to maneuver himself to try and, you know, mitigate some of the fall damage.
Okay, one down.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, playing it safe. This is the right thing to do. Okay, we only got one left. Okay, we're good. All right.
Oh, phew. Not quite, you know, the that was pretty terrifying, not gonna lie. To say, you know, from one kind of like low % execution, you know, moth fight on Relkin's side to basically, you know, nothing really of no real, you know, improvement in equipment, you know, on Cold Stare. You know, Relkin is certainly, you know, has quite the he is quite the receipt.
And now that I think about it, Eri's Ether Medallion was in Super Bunny Cave, so he never had an option of going to TR. So he's actually not going to feel bad about that at all. Now that I think about it, unless there's like a mirror somewhere that he's just missed, but you're never going to go into TR in his scenario, because you couldn't do it without another trip, which is fine.
Yeah, and I think at this point, right, and, you know, Eri's kind of at least going back here, you know, into Eastern Palace, you know, this kind of Sphere 1's location. We haven't, but I mean, granted, like, we haven't really seen, I guess, like, much evidence that there was a mirror that was available to him, you know, or that would have been available to him before he went up the mountain.
Yeah. So I think you're right. And on Relkin's side, we're going to see a quick Mire Shed potentially, and then I would expect to see him clean up the mountain checks. Or he could even do it in the opposite order, but no, it looks like it's... Alright, but no Big and Easters. There's no skipping that location shenanigans that are going to happen. Alright, let's see what this Mire Medallion is. Then we will know... Those bombos?
Like bombos? Yeah,
so that is another required item.
Alright, speaking of, so we did find a mushroom in Eastern Palace Big Chest.
Nice sword.
Relkin picking up an early tempered sword. That's really going to be pretty nice for him in Mire Shed.
All right, Relkin, are you going to go up the mountain? Yes. Okay. Right. We're back on track.
Yes. So with a full magic bar as well, and he does have, in this case, the Cane of Burna. Yes. Should hopefully be eyeing Spike Cave at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely doing Spike Cave. I don't even think he's going to feel that bad about that hook shot. I think he's in his mind, it would have been tough to get to that much earlier, given where the flippers are, right? Like, he can't really have thought Eri went to Sahasrahla very first thing and then got that Cane of Burna super early and was able to get the hook. Like, that sequence of events happening is, like, not super common. So he might not even be feeling too bad about the hook shot.
Yeah, right. And I think you mentioned this before, like, the only thing that he probably might not feel so great about, just because he did take the chance, in this case, he cleared out all of Green Pendant Skull Woods, right? And in this case, did not really kind of, like, give him any real benefits. Eri, taking down Armos with the silver arrows. I don't know if that was a particularly different setup. Did seem to kind of spit a couple more arrows than maybe initially intended. But you know what? We're done with our next crystal, at least on Eri's side. And yeah, Pot is basically right next on the docket. I'm not going to have the Temper Sword, that Relkin found in Meyer's Shed. But I think at this point, especially, Eri being a world record holder for NMG, this is even better than what he normally comes with. And plus he has silvers for the last phase, so I certainly don't imagine him having too many issues.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, Relkin is obviously getting his hook shot, which is good.
Yeah, he needs a little bit more health. I mean, he should be able to... Oh, thank you, Fairy.
Yeah, he's got tons of health for this with Cane of Burna. You have a lot of leeway with that many hearts. All right, so I guess the question is, where is that mirror and where is that Bombos? I guess there is like a fringe case where boots are required.
So, aren't you glad we start with pseudo boots?
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
The case. Oh my gosh! Yeah, imagine basically doing all of this, without just walking everywhere. It would just feel awful. Oh, that was a nice hook shot there. Hook shot down on Eri's side in order to try and get through that screen a little bit faster. Not bow lock though. We do have a small key, so Eri at least is going to go through the front door. Meanwhile, though, Relkin, finally being able to take advantage of that hook shot. So he is basically going to at least get the rest of his Death Mountain, I guess, arsenal in this case.
Yeah, and point out that he didn't find a mirror somewhere on the way, so he's not going to have the option to go into TR either. So it's going to be even on that front. All right.
Yeah, not really seeing anything so far though into Pod, but I guess we're still pretty early. Yeah, and then fortunately or unfortunately for Eri, you mentioned, we don't have boots yet, which means that, Eri kind of has to go through basically the mimic side or the bowlock side with the bow, as opposed to kind of going through the front and trying to kind of like hover his way over to as a shortcut in order to get to these chests.
Yeah, exactly. Still, I mean, it's still just the front pod. You're just gonna find mostly keys anyway.
Yeah,
a little bit more health. That's not. Yeah. I don't think he's complaining too much about having a little bit extra health.
Yeah, probably not at this point. I mean, he does have blue mail, and of course the bowlock side does make things maybe a little bit nicer, so we can go straight, to Helmasaur, because we did find the big key early. No mirror though kind of means that we're gonna have to maybe route Pod with, with kind of this in mind, just because once you beat Helmasaur, it is a free quote unquote like warp or mirror back to the front, so at least it kind of saves you like one death warp. And given that we have 10 hearts, blue mail, death warping is not going to be like the fastest thing.
Yeah, he's got nowhere else to go, so he can just save and quit out of the back. So Relkin could get some time back here and here if he chooses not to go to the basement. But I think it was just a small key and a dungeon item in the front.
Yeah.
So I think it is very common play for people to go. No, Relkin's not doing it. I think he hopefully. Yeah. If he's not getting it now, he's going to leave an item there, which is going to be good for him because he'll save some time.
Yeah, for sure. Because, it was definitely like big key in the basement, and then you had to kind of go back all the way up to get the big chest for an item, and it was basically just like, it was something unimportant.
Well, okay. I mean, he did, I'll give him credit. He remembered he had pseudo boots and not regular boots, but he forgot he had the big key, so 1 for 2 is not that bad.
Take one text box versus basically the entire, second trip basically up Hera. All right, Eri, kind of showing us, the NMG way in order to take down Helma Phase 1, activating that spin speed. not super as important, but of course, we get a basically, a little bit nicer hitbox, for the hammer in order to kind of to take off the mask. And one silver arrow. We're in and down for another crystal. Man, Eri is really knocking these crystals out. Relkin certainly no slouch, just as fast. We've got dueling crystal catches.
Yeah, Relkin's still kind of keeping pace. If he doesn't go to the basement, he makes up like 2 minutes in Hera because he didn't fall in the middle hole to Moldorm, and
you're right.
Oh, he's going back in. Come on, you're playing Eri. You gotta peepo gamble a little bit here.
You absolutely correct. I totally forgot of the fact that Eri did manage to save himself from the first fall because, again, we still have pseudo boots, not real boots, but he could not control Moldorm. And in this case, did save himself or cost himself right around a minute.
Yeah, but to be fair for Relkin, he's got Dark Death Mountain, and I guess he just got his bow too, right? So he's got a lot to do. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's doing this. But it's hard because your life's on the line, right? And like you don't want to go out by leaving something behind. That feels pretty terrible. So I'm gonna be very curious to see. I think Eri's next play is very clearly Ice Palace.
Yeah, with the cane.
Kind of no matter what, but maybe there will be something in Pod that will make it more interesting.
So where is our layup, by the way? Like, we haven't seen it. Like, it wasn't an Eastern, which presumably that would have actually been like a very viable option, like for the lamp. But we're going through like all these dark roads, and like we haven't seen it yet.
That's true, but we still have not found anything strictly behind Darkroom logic yet. So it can still be.
Oh, you mean like progression wise? Yeah.
Some interesting because that flute is still fully in logic. Nice. That was a really nice hammer jump there.
Yeah, like I said, Eri and Relkin are basically showing a lot of really like prime execution. It certainly very shows that they are very accomplished energy runners. Relkin trying to get the Hera pots, not quite landing on the right pixel. Looks like
it's a little hard to do with the door open, I find.
All right. Okay. So back of Pod, basically just actually all of Pod, I think at this point didn't have anything outside of basically of that crystal. Like all the front basically didn't have anything. It was just really just like the crystal. The prize that was necessary.
Relkin bailing out and going for the. That looks good to me. Yeah. Okay. He's back on track.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, this looks like maybe this is a pyramid fairy. It's a pyramid play on Eri's side because we didn't basically go immediately over to Link's house and then run over to dive Lake Hylia.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And isn't the Bombos medallion on Lake Hylia Island?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So we're definitely we're gonna like doubly need that mirror.
Yeah. So getting a mirror here makes a lot of things better because not only can he get that Bombos medallion on the way to Ice Palace, he can also like mirror after Ice Palace and do Zora if he wants.
Oh right, yeah. Just try to maybe hold out for that potential. Yeah, maybe I'll try to hold out for that potential mirror and efficiency. Yeah, these are actually really good points. As Eri kind of also quick swapped over, he did actually give us a reminder that there is a mushroom that he also potentially could turn in. I don't think Eri is a fake powder, kind of person, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he necessarily wants to try and maybe save it.
Alright, nothing there. It's $25.
Literally nothing. Oh, Fairy. Fairy's pretty good for safety. Again, this is probably looks like, Eri's, in this case, well, we're 2 bottles, but I think this is going to be the only thing that is actually inside his bottle. So it's certainly not going to turn down something at this point.
Yeah, the one kind of crappy thing about Pyramid Fairy, it does really opt you into this catfish play. And like having the mirror doing this is also good, as well as having the mirror doing Ice Palace, because now Graveyard Ledge is just completely dead. I guess Eri hasn't done Skull Woods yet, but like, he doesn't want to go back there either.
Yeah. I mean, and really at this point, right? Like, if the mirror is kind of like locking so much, because like right now, what else do we need? I guess like we need the flute. Well, so we need the flute. Like, I don't know. Maybe if he isolates Graveyard Ledge, nice bog. Maybe it's not going to be the end of the world for him, right? Because we know where the flute is, and if we were just kind of searching for the mirror at this point, yeah, it certainly can't be a Graveyard Ledge.
It is. extremely likely that that mirror is in Turtle Rock right now.
Oh man,
I just want to point that out.
That's terrible. Because that's, I mean, it's like, and nobody has any incentive to go back to Turtle Rock, right? You know, just because it's like literally the only thing left on the mountain. Maybe if we get a book, man, you know, we can go check either tablet, and that's another thing we can draw them back up there. But at this point, like, it's quite the investment to kind of go back to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he really is really cleaning up a lot here before making his Ice Palace play. All right, Relkin's got to be doing Pod Eastern now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
unfortunately, he's going to do, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not going to be really rewarded with anything because we saw on Aries' side, yeah, it's just another, it looks like 20 rupees. All right, so Aries is pretty set, I think, on safety. He's got a blue potion he just bought, and he has the fairy from Pyramid Fairy. Man, all right, well, yeah, so this I guess has to be Ice Palace. We don't really have much else. But I mean, we have Turtle Rock in this case, but yeah, it's going to be a clearable crystal dungeon for Aries.
Yeah, so the kind of nice thing is we will converge soon, right? We will, like, Aries going to do Ice Palace, Relkin's going to do Pod and Eastern, and then he's going to do the Zora area first, which is perfectly fine, given that he never found that mirror. But then it'll kind of be on Aerie, because Relkin's kind of has to go to TR after this, but Aerie still has the Skullwoods options, although that's not super. Okay, there you go. There's your lamp.
That just, yeah, I guess that's a good reminder that Relkin has also not done the overworld. I mean, he's been very busy kind of diving dungeons, so certainly probably expected that he wasn't kind of over here, but yeah, I guess that is, that's, yeah. We did actually have logical access. To begin with, we have a powder, great, another real fun location to go back to without the flute.
Interesting. So, like, that powder is another thing in the Skullwoods area for Aerie to potentially give that time back to Relkin instead of going to TR, because you don't really want to go to Pendant TR. Opting into another mountain climb is pretty rough, but kind of the way the seed's been playing, I would be surprised if he chooses Skullwoods over TR once he finishes Ice Palace. Like, he's going to do a couple flute things first, obviously, the same kind of sequence that Relkin did, but like that's kind of going to be the crux of this race, I think, is what decision Aerie makes after he activates his flute and realizes he can't get into Mire.
So would you be, I guess, like, thinking about potentially, you know, like, what, in this case, like, if you're in Aries' shoes, like, what Relkin may or may not have done, like, early on in order to try and cause more variance? Like, I don't know what, you know, what kind of, like, position Aerie thinks he might be in, but it's like, would you want to go to Skullwoods to try and even things up because chances are Relkin's already done Skullwoods, versus, like, I'm just going to go to TR, and if something is in Skullwoods, you know, like the mirror, or like, well, I guess only be the mirror, then I guess I'm just not going to play next week, basically.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought to this. If I was in Aries' shoes, I would be like, Skullwoods is dead to me. It was so reasonable to do Skullwoods early, because he really didn't have that much to do. Right? He went to an out of logic spike cave, and that's where he found his progression. And he had a fully clearable green pendant in Logic Skullwoods, right? Super reasonable to go do that. And if it's Mirror he is looking for, and Mirror would make everything he has done so much more efficient. If you found that in Skullwoods, you got to figure you're in trouble. So I think he should be going to TR. But I don't have Aries execution though, so he might, like, you know what I mean, having that edge. Although he's playing Relkin, so the edge is so much smaller than it normally is. But like that edge, like he's allowed to think differently. Like, being that good affords you the ability to do, you know, different things. So I'm just super interested to see what decision he makes.
Yeah, no, this is like some really actually like excellent analysis, you know, and kind of like really guys like thinking, you know, kind of in the shoes of both like Aerie and Relkin. We'd also, by the way, see a pretty big contrast, you know, between when Relkin was here at Ice Palace versus Aerie. Not quite like the side-by-side Ice Palace, you know, traversal, but I mean, you know, Aerie basically was already halfway through, if not more, so in Ice Palace. Going to save kind of like multiple minutes on Relkin just because of that King Samaria.
Yeah, Relkin, I don't think is feeling spectacular. Well, he's going to turn that mushroom too, which is fine. Because if you have a mirror and pod, it makes your life easier as well.
Yeah. I mean, he also has the flute, right? So that was not a luxury that Eri had early on. So turning the mushroom for him is certainly going to be much faster. He probably also can take this opportunity to go buy a potion as well. Yeah, looks like that. So at least he'll buying 2 potions no less. So yeah, so he should at least be set for safeties.
Yeah, Relkin doing the math, I guess. On
yeah, that's all. That's
buy 2
true.
blues.
Good point. He
is gets an open pod too, though, but he's gonna get some rubies in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly very, heads up on Relkin to be kind of still like money conscious. He still hasn't done Zora yet, as kind of evident by the fact that, we did find the lamp in Waterfall Fairy, and he doesn't have it yet. So, might still kind of be something on his mind. Alright, there was a flute pickup on Aries' side for Ice Palace, so that is it in terms of items. We are going to go to Cold Stare, and again, we kind of saw we saw Relkin show off a pretty impressive, but kind of still scary, low-ish % execution fight versus Cold Stare. Eri, with that, well, if he's on Master Sword, with the hammer, going to be a little bit, hopefully not going to be, as scary. Of course, Eri does also have a blue potion as safety, just in case something goes terribly wrong.
Well, he has to use his blue
potion. Right, because he has no bomb boat. Yeah. So hopefully he's going to be a little bit safer. I was thinking maybe Eri would have a temper sword here, but no, he hasn't been over to the Mire area yet.
So, life's not going to work. There you go.
Yeah. It is not quite the strong enough fire source that we're looking for. Oh, that was actually a really nice spin on Aries' side. And again, I think Relkin is doing something very similar, trying to spin to give a little bit of defense, just so the puffs in this case don't charge him quite as quickly.
He's got to get that. There we go. I was like, you got to get your quick swap in before you kill one of them. Mm-hmm. There, that was quite well done. All right, this is closer than I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to take Aries some time to activate his flute and check out Mire. I mean, Relkin hasn't done Pyramid Fairy yet, and it's pretty likely that he's going to do that after Pod. But depending on how he's feeling, he might see him go for the TR play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to actually think right now if we have really that's like anything else that's open to us. Well, I guess we have Magic Bat earlier. I think we got well, at least Eri has the powder. And maybe this is exactly what he is looking to do. Did he?
Well, he's got to activate his flute, right?
Oh, right. But did
so he might as well do that on the way.
Did he not check Shovel Spot? Because we got that in the well, like super. Oh yeah, because I guess Eri kind of went south and north, and that was in the well. So I guess Eri never checked this. Okay, gotcha. Good thing it wasn't anything, I guess, from his perspective.
Mm-hmm. All right, and this also kind of negates the Skullwoods temptation. Because he kind of has to go to Mire, because Mire could be Ether, right? And it could just be an open crystal dungeon for him. And so he's going to do Powder after he activates his flute, almost certainly, I think. And so that even makes it even less likely he's going to choose Skullwoods over TR. Oh, and there could just be a mirror on Powder, and this is all. Oh no, he's not doing Powder. Interesting. All right, so here, Eri gonna realize now that he also needs the mirror for Mire. He's going to get his nothing out of Mire's shed. Or I guess no, I forgot there's a sword there. So where are you going, Eri? You going to TR? See him? He's quick swapping the flute. No. Oh, yeah? Okay, he's faking us out. All right. So this, I guess, is going to be Powder. Which is fine, and I guess we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see what decision he's going to make, because we got to see what's on Powder, and obviously this could just be the mirror, and then we're just done. All right, Relkin picking up his pod crystal. I think he's still got some business in the back to do. Okay, just 20 bucks on the bat, so let's see where Eri is going to go. Looks like he was going to walk out saving quitting, so I'm assuming this means he's going to TR.
Yeah, mountain trip certainly does kind of make that indication.
Yeah, so I believe we now know either the mirror or whatever leads to the mirror has to be here.
Yeah, no, this is. So I guess assuming Relkin kind of, I guess, immediately goes over to Turtle Rock after Pod. I mean, I don't know. Like, do you think that'll be likely? Because you did mention, potentially there's like this, like, what kind of we saw Eri do earlier was, after crystal completion, doing like Pyramid Fairy into Pyramid into Catfish and Sora area.
Yeah, I think it's a little tough for Relkin to go to TR before doing Pyramid Fairy, but he might. You never know.
Yeah, certainly. I guess especially if you are hoping in this case, for Relkin to potentially advance in next week, that is probably somewhere that you would really like to see him go to.
Yeah, and like, no matter what, really, it's going to be a pretty straight line to get to this mirror, whether it's in TR or not. Mm-hmm. Like, even if it's on the pedestal and there's a book here, like, it's not.
Oh,
there's nothing.
That would be awful.
There's nothing to send you someplace weird.
Yeah, I guess that is true, right? I mean, right. So we know, of course, Bombos, is on like Highlight Island, which is, of course, mirror locked. So chances are we're not going to, like we can't kind of get like, I guess, like baited out early. What other option potentially can we find here in Turtle Rock? So we can find the book. I think you mentioned this. We could find the boots. That would open up a couple more boots checks as well. Like, King's Tomb Bonk Rocks, because we couldn't really, do those earlier. Of course, we couldn't find the mirror itself. I'm going to assume that's right. Relkin did check Bumper Ledge, and that was nothing. So can't really get tempted by Cape either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I kind of as expected. Relkin's doing Pyramid Fairy. It's really tough to, this is 4 items and TR is only 5 items, and you don't have to go up the mountain. It's pretty tough to pass this up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, like, it's especially, man, it's just right. Climbing the mountain and going all the way to like to Dark Death Mountain. Oh man, it is in this case quite the time commitment. And not that necessarily like Pyramid Fairy is, a fast, I guess, and like easy or like breezy, type of thing. But it is certainly a less of a time investment for a couple items. Chomp's not quite behaving, but Eri knows how to handle them. He probably has done that screen or two, once or twice from NMG.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Welcome grabbing those rubies, right? Because he hasn't done Zora either. Eri had like 1 million rubies when he got there, so it wasn't a big deal for him. Has Relkin still not done the front of escape?
Relkin has still not done the front of escape, correct?
Yeah, that's the rupee difference, right? Because there's a 300.
Oh, right, yeah. That's true. Right, and actually, in the last game between Relkin and Humbug, right, Relkin actually delayed the front of escape for quite some time. That was actually where their bow was. But of course, Relkin was kind of able to combo that because they had an early mirror with Pyramid.
Right. There it is.
That was the mirror. Wow. All right, in Vanilla Vicky chest of Turtle Rock. So that's Eri's effective go mode. I mean, technically, I think we're still missing Bombos, but Eri is getting that right now on Lake Highlight Island.
Yeah, he'll probably do Swamp first and then grab it after. But yes, it is imminent. And so so this is basically go mode. I mean, there's like obviously a very small chance you might need boots, but like you don't even get the movement from finding boots. So I would not go out of my way at all to look for boots.
Yeah, that's
these
true.
guys.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true, right? There is that's still technical 1 out of 22 chance that the big key, of course, is on the torch. That would be quite the sight, actually. Especially in this case, right? Like, the fact that the mirror was also in, kind of like halfway through Turtle Rock, right? I mean, like, just imagine if, like, boots were back there, like around Laser Bridge or something like that, and the big key was on the torch. Like, that would be
that'd be
an extended gameplay and content right there.
All right, so Relkin opting for the Azora checks before TR. This is kind of a shame. He gets a lamp, which is, you know, kind of nice, I guess. But like, he's gonna get baited into that powder now as well, and is gonna just eat more of this time away for him.
Yeah, and the fact that and like Eri and Relkin are both kind of on Temper Sword Silvers, especially coming into Swamp for Argus. This should be very, very comfortable, especially for Eri. I mean, also similar for Relkin when he eventually gets over here.
Yeah, Eri's got to be feeling pretty good about his route. Like the time he found that hook shot was really good, and I think like it would be pretty hard to justify going to TR before doing Pyramid Fairy. So it's like maybe he's feeling bad about doing the Zora checks, but there's not too much for him to feel bad about.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to kind of like coupled with that, right? He also didn't dip North Darkworld at all, right? Like no Skull Woods, like no kind of like bumper ledge check. I mean, it's like that was entire dungeon basically that he was kind of able to skip, right? Everything that kind of after the hook shot, he was able to kind of single dip pretty much all of the rest of the dungeons, right? He got the bow from Paradox Cave, was able to do Pod Eastern, kind of together, or I mean, relatively speaking, together-ish. Delve Ice Palace got his flutes. Was kind of now is going to able to basically do Swamp and Mire just kind of like one after the other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his route was super efficient.
So you see Eri even skipping the chests in the diver down room. So he's not thinking about boots at all at this point.
Yeah, speaking of, hopefully we're going to get treated to a very nice NMG Zero Cycle Argus. If we can't get a bow landmost, even though we have silvers, hopefully we're going to get some at least endgame. Really nicely done, Eri.
It was a very nice, slow Argus movement for him. That was extremely well done.
Yeah, so okay, Relkin is entering in Turtle Rock. This is very, very good for Relkin because he's going to be able to pick up that mirror in the vanilla big key chest. Eri at this point just needs to go over to get Bombos off of Lake Highlight Island with that mirror. And then going to be able to head over to Mire, hoping in this case it's going to be an early big key for both of them, just because, the longer, I mean, it's not going to be a big deal just because, it probably won't cost or be much of a difference for, either runner, but, at this point, early big key would be really nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, for Eri, the season's pretty much done. Just give me that big key, let me move on with my life, and we can, get this seed over with.
Yeah, and I think so. He also might be a little bit more anxious, about going into GT, just because, I mean, you did mention, right? Basically, Eri skipping every single chest, even on the way. Does not care in this case about boots whatsoever, but just in case, it would be kind of like a good peace of mind, right? To kind of know that I don't have to worry in this case.
Yeah, and at this point for Relkin, it's really the only thing that can get him back into this race is some obscure big key torch BS, which Eri not trying to bonk across. I'm very impressed. I guess these guys have been playing this mode forever.
Well, we are so Eri and Relkin, I think both did. I mean, they certainly had to do at least 10 games. I want to say maybe Eri did like 1 or 2 maybe extra. I'm trying to remember. But then also, this is also week 3 of groups, right? They had to battle it out through. They played, I guess, like three games each. They played, at least this is the 3rd week of just all pure open plus, right? So hopefully at this point, they've gotten used to having pseudo boots.
Yeah, a lot of games in this Invitational, which as a spectator is great because there's always stuff to watch. It was nice to have this going on in the kind of the week that the main tournament was off. There's still some good gameplay on that you can watch. Relkin about to grab his mirror right now, so he will be back on track.
Yeah, and of course, next week, kind of assuming that Eri in this case kind of follow his path, presumably it will be, barring probably nothing odd happening, next week's content, finals between Eri and Humbug is going to be quite good. By the way, just kind of a recap, right? So, throughout this tournament, Eri has played Humbug before. The very first match, I believe Humbug took win over Eri. It was something like really close, something like 17 to 20 seconds. Humbug can correct me in chat if I'm mistaken. Super close race. The next time, that Eri and Humbug played, it was that 7.5-minute differential. Not quite close. It kind of came down to Humbug was able to clip some of those mimics away in upper GT, and Eri had to go after Hammer, quote-unquote, go mode. Had to go back in order to go do Hammer Pegs in order to go find his one bow. So it was quite heartbreaking for Eri. I think in this case, he's probably ready for some revenge to take on coming into the next week.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, so Eri knows the big key is here, which is nice. And so now just a quick Vidi kill, and then he is on his way to gain his tower. Oh, see, so relkin doing a little bit of extra searching still.
Interesting.
He knows Bombos is on the island, right?
Yeah, no, he definitely checked. Yeah.
He went to Hobo. He's got the Cane of Berna, yeah.
So I guess, what do you think he might be searching for?
The only thing you'd be looking for is boost, right? There's no half magic in
this, is there? Right, yeah, correct. Yeah, no half magic. I don't even think we found its little small magic decanter replacement. But yeah, that's actually a good point. Maybe in this case, relkin is considering that 1 in 22 chance.
A nice spooky action here by Eri. Yeah, that's a good point by Dante. He might be thinking that is only the only thing he has not done in the game before hitting that mirror was the front of escape.
Oh yeah, that's true. Right, we never did see relkin do front of escape, and pretty much he has done everything else. Alright, that is crystal number 7 for Eri. We're heading up the mountain for hopefully the final time. Relkin did find our 4th sword in Swamp Palace Compass chest, indicated by that green 20. I guess that was just never going to happen in this particular case. And I think all eyes are going to be on Eri's side as he traverses up the mountain. And we're going to see where exactly this GT big key is.
Nice Quake medallion. That's just kick in the face, adding another thing to your quick swap menu that you want to see in there.
Yeah, I mean, relkin's giving us all this extra content, for us. We're basically seeing, where all of the other, I guess Y items are, right? We found the Quake medallion, we found the 4th sword. Still haven't seen the boots yet. Could be actually pretty interesting, actually, if the boots actually has shown up, because that would actually kind of guarantee, in this case, relkin's absolute true go mode. And if I'm not sure how likely of a spot Swamp Palace is on Eri's priority list, if he does have to come back and search for boots.
Yeah, I think if that situation did happen, you'd probably go back into TR first, and then maybe desert or something. I don't know. It's so unlikely that this is going to happen, but it's really the only thing we have to talk about, because otherwise we're just talking about how far ahead Eri is.
I mean, well, Eri does have a pretty significant lead, and I guess kind of what came down to it. Well, right. So there are a couple of things that kind of worked in Eri's, major favor was that early, one play, first 2 minutes of the game or something like that. Eri save and quit over to Blink's house, got a glove, farmed a 50-50 bomb, and then basically beelined it to Sahasrahla. No real boots means that we had to basically use that one bomb. He got his Cane of Berna, out there, and then kind of sequence broke up the mountain and got a hook shot from Spike Cave. And that kind of unlocked a ton more stuff for the rest of the sea, versus relkin was certainly a bit more delayed getting to it. Alright, welcome picking up his Bombos medallion. Eri taking his traditional route. It is not a big key, and he's not even going to get a small key from the torch. Okay, interesting.
It is an interesting choice for sure, but you know what? I'm not going to question the man.
I wonder if that was NMG muscle memory.
Oh, Eri. There we go. We finally got one. I've been waiting for that all day.
Oh, right. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I was going to say, I think we all forgot.
Oh, right, yeah. That's true, too.
Yeah, that's right.
See, we not only did he remembered he didn't have boots for the key, but he immediately forgot for the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
So, listen, Shady, we're not immune to this. I haven't played a million of these. It's
yeah, can't even fall back to muscle memory here on Aries' side for NMG, or even for Rando for that matter. But we do have our one small key. Kind of interesting consequence, I guess, for that matter.
Right, but yeah, like you said, Eri opting for the Blaine route. He watched it save his ass in the match this morning, so he's paying homage to the Blaine route by performing it himself. You know, yeah. he's gotta pay his respects, and I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Not sure if Eri needs to be a bit more conscious of magic usage in particular ways. I don't think he filled up, like, so he still has a fairy in his bottle, and his other bottle, but he did use up the blue potion Ice Palace. Don't know if he, I guess, wants to think about, I guess, potentially saving some for, like, the rest of GT.
Yeah, he's got silvers. It's not so bad. Mm-hmm. He can make do.
Alright, not in Compass Room in this case, so we're going to, in this case, keep going. It looks like potentially, if in this case, you know, relkin does go to, you know, right side first, Hope Room, looks like he's going to be saving himself a little bit more time.
Yeah, I'm curious to ask relkin how he's feeling. I don't think he has much to feel bad about other than going back for Hera Big Chest. Like, I think his route is what you would see from a lot of good players based on the sequencing, the Skullwoods play. Like, he might be feeling bad about that, but you gotta assume that a high percentage of opponents would have done the Skullwoods play.
Yeah, no, like, for sure. I mean, you were kind of just like right there. You didn't really have like the good options, right? And I think you mentioned this earlier, right? Like the play in order to go over to Sahasrahla and get the flippers, and then specifically like seeing go to Hobo after the flippers to get the Cane of Burna to kind of sequence break out, you know, Spike Cave. Like it is, you know, not something that I think would immediately come to mind as in, oh yeah, like this is definitely something my opponent, you know, would have done.
Yeah, like it's hard to assume that your opponent, you know, immediately finds the glove in Link's house, gets the 50-50 rock, goes to Sahasrahla, has 0 bombs, has to go buy bombs at the Hylia shop. And that's the only reason he went to Hobo early. And that's why he had that Cane of Burna, and that gave him the extra option when he went to sequence break up. Like this, like it's hard to see that. You know what I mean? That outcome. And there wasn't enough rupees early. He doesn't know, because there was a 300 in escape that he never got, but he doesn't know that. So he might be thinking that, you know what, there wasn't that many rupees early. I still had to farm to do Zora at like an hour in. You know what I mean? Eri bombing, so I think you can pseudo bunk over that gap though.
I believe actually you are correct. I think that was actually like the one of the like the very few things that you could actually still do with pseudo boots. I'm not sure if that was necessarily intended, but it has certainly happened.
Eri showing that nobody has any idea how to get that chest properly. So it's good to see that I'm not alone.
Oh, dude! Almost of it's a kind of like Armos with silvers take 2. Actually, pretty cool use of ice sticks. That's kind of almost getting to the last one.
Oh, is that tile room?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this tile room? Because I don't think we have anything left to do.
Oh, there you go. Just making us all spend 3 more minutes of our day.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, okay, so if you are relkin, you don't probably feel, I mean, I don't know how bad you would, I guess, have to feel in order to do a tile room first.
Yeah, I don't think he's in that type of situation. Like, his row was good. Like, what relkin did in this seed beats a lot of people, I think, still. Like, you know, getting the flute when he did was good. He had that efficiency for a while. I think the only thing, if I were in relkin's position, like I always feel bad, so like it's hard as like the rando player mentality but like trying to be objective looking at it, I think the only thing relkin would be feeling kind of bad about is Hera.
Yeah, that is certainly true. Because right, I kind of, especially at that point, right? You know, especially from relkin's position, and you mentioned this earlier, right? He had a lot of stuff that kind of opened up to him kind of immediately, right? With like the hook shot, and the options of kind of sitting through Hera basement for one particular item, you know, maybe didn't have to be as high priority. I understand that probably Relkin wanted to be a bit more thorough, right? But I think for Aries' sake, especially, that was actually kind of like he had much more incentive to kind of finish up Hera, to make sure nothing he left behind, just because he got the hookshot so early, right? In this case, like it was already a pretty strong move in order to find the hookshot, so he probably didn't want to, like, you know, increase like the added risk, right, of potentially leaving something behind.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people just don't Hera pot if you get a small key dungeon item, and like, it's perfectly reasonable. It does feel bad when you do that in the maps in the big chest, but like it's so unlikely at that point, right? There's only one dungeon item left.
Exactly. Yeah. You're even keeping out silvers for G1. Typically speaking, sometimes I think you're trying to like minimize the lag between them, but you know, Eri knows what he's doing.
Nice. Of course, it's going to be a good gauntlet.
Yeah, pseudo boots basically are just as good as real boots in the gauntlet. Alright, I guess we can end up seeing if Relkin decides to try and make at least a right side first, straight into tile room. But again, I don't think I've ever seen Relkin do this. And I don't know like how bad you would have to feel in order to do this, but you know what? He might have memories of his match from 2 hours ago, in that he was maybe a bit burned by the point round. So this is certainly something that is very, very understandable.
Yeah, and you got to kind of feel for Relkin. Like in the race this morning, he got shafted like immensely hard, and in this race, like his opponent just hit quite a good route, you know what I mean? And like he was very likely he was going to make it out potentially, because if he had won this morning, Eri would have had to beat him by 7 minutes, which I don't think is happening right now. I think it will be close. I doubt. I mean,
no, it's like
Relkin finishes, but I don't think he's 7 minutes ahead. That's for sure.
No, like 7 minutes is like a whole GT, right, or something like that. And then
well, it's a bit more than the whole GT when you have to get a key out of tile room.
Okay, fair. But I mean, yeah, like 7 minutes. Like I think it was actually like 7.5 minutes is like that is an incredibly tall order in order to beat somebody by. I mean, like, and part of the reason why in this case like Eri lost a Humbug by 7.5 minutes was, you know, they both kind of like Eri had I want to say maybe like a 1.5 or 2 minute lead or something over Humbug going into GT, but it was just kind of like that mimic clip difference, and then, you know, Eri kind of had to go basically searching for the bow, right? Kind of, I would say, fairly fortunate when he, you know, he found the bow when he did. Could have certainly been a lot longer to be delayed by it, but like, you know, for a normal kind of like not that type of seed, right, to beat somebody by 7.5 minutes is just like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially in a seed like this where you kind of had to do a lot, right? It wasn't like super jetty.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, right, even like combined, you know, between what Relkin and Eri have like left, there is really like not a whole lot, if anything. I mean, they did the entirety of GT Basement, right? Basically searching for that big key.
Yeah, for sure. Right, Eri looking like he's gonna put down a 4 cycle. I get 2.
Patterns kind of happen.
Yeah, that was mean.
Yeah, I guess, you know, better to have the patterns here in Rando versus NMG. You know, at least you know that somebody else is going to suffer with you. In NMG, that's not quite the case.
Eri, that's offensive. This is ALTTPR ladder, the highest standard of you know, randomizer gameplay. What did Eri just fed him some Cheetos? That's all.
Alright, drop a data cannon. I do fully expect a one-on-one here. Didn't even find the 4th sword, but I'm not even sure. I mean, I think Eri probably even feels more comfortable with Tempered Sword versus Gold Sword, just because, you know, he has seen Tempered, you know, in so many of his, like, every single one of his NMG runs, basically all of his Rando runs. He might just even be slightly more confused seeing, like, a Gold Sword as opposed to, like, an orange one.
Yeah, Eri missing the one-on-one. Maybe like a little bit of nerves happening right now.
I hope you're not listening, Eri.
No one is immune.
He does have 2 fairies, by the way, still. One that he got from Pyramid Fairy that he never ended up using, and then 2, he did also catch a fairy in Tile Room. So certainly not in any imminent danger. Probably the worst that can happen to Eri is he gets hit by one of the fire bats and then takes a tumble.
Oh, nice job getting the chest by relkin there. Mm-hmm.
Alright, 1 silver arrow down, 3 to go.
Nice. Like a double here, just into the last one. There you have it.
Wow, that was quite the show. Holy cow. Get your GGs out in chat for the second finalist going into next week at a face-off versus Humbug in ladder in the finals for best of 3. And the winner of today's race, 120.52. GG's Eri. Moving on to next week. Looks like we do have a forfeit on relkin's side. And again, this is, no tiebreakers involved. This is a winner-take-all. Very understandable, for relkin to kind of call it quits here. Get your G's out in chat for relkin. Played, again, heck of a seed. Heck of a race here.
Yeah, huge GG's to both of them. Looks like Eri's in here. Eri, GG. Well played, sir.
Yo, Eri, GG's on your victory.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna ask first. Talk us through the first 5 minutes of your game, and specifically, I guess, your trip over to Sahashwa.
So, with Zulu Boots, I kind of want to delay Kakariko for a little bit, maybe get some bombs first, because it's weird. I never know if I should do an extended trip to Lost Woods to get rupees and or bombs, so I could just go straight to Lost Woods. But it really messes with your resource farm. So I got a glove in Link's house, and I decided, okay, let's just try to get a bomb. If I get a bomb, then I can go to Sahasrara and just see if I can get more resources. And it just kind of escalated from that. It's oh, now I can do this, which is not super inefficient. Oh, now I can do this, which is not super inefficient. And yeah, in the end, you just do Freddy's Outcast and Smith before Kakariko, which apparently is, it worked out. It was pretty efficient.
Yeah, true. It looks like we're also joined by relkin. relkin, GG's, dude.
GG's, relkin.
Hey, GG's. It stinks whenever lots of wrong decisions culminate in a single day for you, knocking you out. But that's rando.
You certainly had quite the mountain to climb, and especially right. So I'm not sure how much you guys were talking post race, but Eri's early game hit an extremely good route. He ended up getting the hook shot right out of Spike Cave, super early, which of course I think after you got the hook shot right, kind of unlocked basically the vast majority of the game. The rest of the mountain, Eri was just a little bit faster over to everything.
Well, yeah, but he skipped Skull Woods and then skipped Zorchex and Pyramid Fairy too, from what he was saying. So yeah, I was just way behind the whole seed, I guess.
I didn't skip Pyramid Fairy, Zora. I said I would have if I was in a different situation going into the race.
Oh, I misunderstood you then.
No, I only had Skull Woods and Turtle Rock left after I got the food checks.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a point in the middle of the race where you guys did kind of converge and it did get close, right? Because we obviously knew that the hookshot was in Spike Cave, and relkin, when you pulled the flute out of Ice Palace, you're like, okay, that's his ticket to go up there, because that was so unappealing to you for so long, right? Because you didn't have that Cane of Burna, and you didn't quite have enough health or potion to do Spike Cave, whereas for Eri, you opted to do those mountain checks over a potential Ice Palace, which I guess, I'll ask you why you made that decision. I think it's kind of obvious, but what was your thought process of doing those Autologic mountain checks over the Ice Palace play?
I don't even exactly remember what I had open at that point.
So you had the Skull Woods, you had the Pod Eastern area, and then you had an Ice Palace. And we were very curious because we were like your next decision was kind of going to determine the direction of the race at that point.
I was thinking of Ice Palace, and then the Zora checks as well. But I thought without like either mirror or hookshot, it is actually kind of nice just to be able to get Old Man, check what's in Spec Rock, and then do Spike Cave. So it was just a good incentive to actually do Spike Cave.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was mostly it. Like I had Burnass, so it wasn't too bad. I'm not exactly sure what else I had. Well, what I was gonna do next. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like this seed, I was totally out of it. I was just running on autopilot for most of it because I'm loaded up on painkillers because my throat's killing me.
Oh no!
No,
I'm sorry, dude.
no.
I won't ask you too many questions then.
So, what actually, like in Hera, I was in Moldorm and I just had to cough so much that I just walked straight into Moldorm and got middle hold. So I was like, okay, well, this is how it's gonna go. But yeah.
You did catch yourself though into not like trying to bonk over like after you got the big chest. Like that was at least that was something.
Yeah, I think I did that very correctly all the way until GT, so that was great.
Yeah, so I only got really one question for you, Relkin. It's basically just like, how are you kind of feeling on your way, like when you found the mirror? Like, how exactly were you feeling? Because I felt like your route was actually, it was pretty good for the most part. Like, it was kind of tough to avoid Skullwoods in this seed. Like, Eri being able to avoid that was, I think, it must have been in his mind a fairly significant advantage. Like you finding the flute when you did quite early, which leading to the hook shot, I think kind of just in a vacuum, getting that hook shot when you did must have actually felt decent. So like, what was your thought process like through from like getting the hook shot to getting the mirror in terms of your positioning?
I honestly, I like. It's hard to really qualify. Like I would have to have seen like what Eri did. Like I'm trying to see what he did with his route real quick, and it looks like he got the cane for ice. He got to route in Cac with the mitts. He got to route in Purple Chest with Agina. He got to like I said, got the cane for ice. And then he did all the other checks, and then went to Turtle Rock after. He also went to the front of Escape, but I didn't do that. I don't know. It's just like, wow. His route worked out a lot better than mine for the part, and then I just like my shot was like going to Turtle Rock as soon as I finished up with Pod Eastern, but then I didn't do that just because I was like, so I just had that Pyramid Sphere in the back of my mind and Zorcheks because those were like things that I could have done way early on, and then I don't know, that I didn't know what to do. It's just hard to go back up to Pendant Turtle Rock, and I also made the mistake of not even checking a medallion before leaving the mountain. That was a very bad mistake, and if I had thought about that, maybe I would have realized sooner that hey, Turtle Rock is like really looming, then I might have gone there. But I just forgot to do that in the moment after I got Kane, and so I'm just wrong decisions plus Aries like really good execution and movement, just propelling him past like, and with good routing as well.
Your execution was certainly really good. So I mean, like your early, I would say like pretty aggressive going back to kill Mothula on the equipment that you had was, like your fights were very good. You know, on Mothula and Colster.
Yeah, and then Aries skipped Skullwoods, like I said. Man, I find it hard to skip Skullwoods whenever you get the tools to beat it early, and it's just it didn't pan out this sea, which is how random goes. But
you know, you're probably not alone in not wanting to skip Skullwoods.
And I blame it all on Dunka just because like Skullwoods has just been my arch nemesis this whole invitational, it seems like. And no matter what I do, I just can't seem to pick right with it. So
it was hard.
I blame you.
It was really hard because it was Green Pennant Skull as well, right? And it's just that there were like almost crystals open the entire time. And like the only time I didn't really focus on dungeons was when I went up to Death Mountain to get the quick old man check. And once I got the hook shot from there on out, it was just crystal, 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 crystal. and then I had to choose between like overruled or 2 pendants. So, like just from skipping it the first time around, I just got lucky that I never got drawn back. But it wasn't like it was a super easy decision. But I also felt that I couldn't just play super safe against you like I can against some other opponents, because like you're basically a 124 runner, and I'm not gonna edge out minutes like I would against some of the other people.
Yeah, but on my side though, I'm facing the world record holder, and I got to make some plays. I feel like to have an edge, and they just didn't play. They just didn't pan out as all comes down to. My route just like for one, my bet made some wrong decisions, and then my routing just like I had to do ice the slow way. You got to route in a lot of things more smoothly, and then you obviously didn't do School Woods, and obviously I'm still minute plus behind you execution wise. So
from our perspective, it was a great race, though. It was like super interesting, and it was much closer from our perspective than it ended up being throughout most of it. And like it was a lot of super interesting decisions that had to be made, and you guys both played great. So thanks for the great show. It was worth the price of admission. I'm glad I was here to commentate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to commentate. And yeah, again, thank you so much for the race, relkin. It's great to finally face you in a non-NMG setting, I guess. And yeah, you're an amazing player. Like, I'm just gonna restate that, and I really feel that way. The one last thing is that I only realized that I could potentially need boots was when I like went to the torch and I was like, oh shit, I can't actually bonk the key of the torch.
Yeah, we were saying it was a little aggressive. He just skipped those 2 diver down chests in swamp.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was on autopilot. I didn't realize until that point.
Oh, that's another thing. Looks like you skipped almost everything in swamp. I did pretty much everything along the way that was convenient to check for boots.
You even did map and compass chest too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that all add up for sure.
Have you ever done a tile room first in GT, relkin?
Nope.
Okay. Would that ever occur to you?
To what?
Would that ever occur to you? Like, would there be any situation where you would actually go to tile room first?
Maybe in a qualifier or something like that, where I feel like the route has been really good for the majority of the seed, and I'm just like I'm GT at a good time for the seed, I think, and then I just do tile room just because I don't want to lose. I would rather lose 45 seconds versus lose 3 minutes.
Okay, I see. Okay.
You'd rather destroy everybody's qualifier score by like 5 points. I see.
That's like the only thing I can really think of that would really be an okay time to do tile room. Other than that, though, it's just a slow check.
Yeah, it's just mainly curious. Just wondering in this case, like if there were like if you would ever feel like badly enough, right, about like how you thought the seed was going, that you might want to try it, but it kind of sounds like it would not. Yeah.
For this seed, I see up front of escape. That was good enough for me to not do it.
Yeah.
Can't believe you skipped front of escape.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have your bow this time, so no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah, well, the mirror was like elusive for the entire seat, so I couldn't route it in with pyramid or anything.
Yeah, I think maybe other than that, relkin, I guess, yes. Well, you guys both played double headers today. I mean, effectively, right? You played, relkin, you played earlier against Humbug. Ari, you played, I guess, 8 AM this morning for your main tournament match. So, yeah, certainly, you guys hopefully can take like a nice, long-ish break after this.
This seed was much better than this morning. If you want to play an amazing seed, please just just DM me. I can send you the seed. I really want others to see it.
Aren't you on painkillers, Ari? I don't know if we can really trust your mental opinion about this.
Yeah, I need some entertainment now. Okay.
Heck of a run for you though, relkin. Throughout this, like you made quite the tear through basically all of the groups. I think nobody I think really wanted to face anybody, but I think especially you were quite intimidating. So.
And I had the 10-0 in the regular season.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Eri, facing off versus Humbug? You guys have already faced at least twice so far in this particular tournament.
Yeah.
Revenge for third.
I guess. I guess I hope to finally get a win against him. Like, one race was within a minute, and the other race I just forgot how to do mimic clip. So maybe this time it'll be I'm ahead and don't fuck up something. So that would be nice.
Okay. So at the risk of bringing up bad memories, can I ask you about the mimic clip? Is this something that you have more confidence in executing?
I did it this morning. Like, I was just warming up and I just did it, and I did both within like a minute. So
okay. All right. If you're listening, Humbug, you don't have that 7.5 minute buffer this time.
And what are the odds that there's like 2 mimic clip seeds in a best of 3, right? So I could take 1. No, I just hope for a couple of great races, and yeah, like, either way, it's just a really fun mode, and I'm glad to just be dashing around, even if we end the seed without boots. So this seed is a great showcase of why pseudo boots is really cool. So thank you, Dunker.
If it's one thing, if I had to list off things I'm glad about over the course of the Invitational, both regular season and playoffs, it'd be 1, I'm glad for pseudo boost start. 2, I'm glad that I've gotten better at hovering over the course of the whole thing, and then 3, I'm glad to be done with scheduling with Europeans, because holy moly.
Was scheduling this a pain? This race?
My weekends were always like just an issue. Just like everything, like last weekend I was out of town for the whole weekend, and I had to do my matches like during the week at really bad times, and then I had like a couple weekend matches. One, I missed the NMG weekly a couple times, and so it's just like, when will this end? And it didn't.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the main tournament now as well. It's just so much random. Like, between the Invitational and the main tournament, I just had to play like 5 or 6 matches a week. It's like, please stop.
Yeah, that was also something I'm glad to be done with, 3 matches a week. But I mean, I made it through to this point, I guess. So we live.
I think I just mostly miss like streaming and being able to interact with people. It just feels so lonely to just sit here and play the game.
That's what the weekly is for tomorrow, right? Hopefully you can run that, be in a voice call with some friends.
Yeah, I hope my throat is better tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll just be listening to people complain about the game instead of just being able to complain about the game.
It can be just as good sometimes. All right, well, GG's guys, I think we should probably wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
You want to take us out?
Yeah, no, sounds good. So thank you again, Eri and Relkin. As Matt said, this was actually a really interesting race. You guys played both very well. Sometimes when you have somebody who hits like a really really good route, Eri, you also might have some experience that versus Tato. You'd sometimes it's just it's just very very difficult to overcome at that point.
I was 29 minutes slower than Tato. Okay, that's ridiculous.
I want to thank Dunka for setting all of this up again. This guy, Dunka and Herfy, just working so much basically behind all the scenes to make everything easy for us, especially for our tracking. Alvin and Chipmunks have not missed a single thing. Pristine, 100% accuracy. I also and definitely look forward to Eri versus Relkin. Eri versus Humbug next week for finals. I'm sure Duncan will basically have all the logistic stuff up in the Discord whenever that becomes available. Matt, dude, you are awesome. Thank you so much for commentating this. This was a blast. Really, I was just so happy when you agreed to and made the time for commentary.
It was my pleasure. You're the best, Clearmouse.
Yeah, Matt. Awesome. Thank you for taking time off your afternoon shift.
This replaced my afternoon shift. This is a huge sacrifice I'm making.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for sacrificing your afternoon.
Very well. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. So I mean, so there's always the evening shift, and of course, we gotta prepare for the Energy Weekly coming up tomorrow, right? So Shady, if you're listening, please forgive your employee for taking a couple hours off out of his very busy day. Until then, though, I think for a ladder, again, Duncan, I think we'll have everything, up and running probably for next week, just getting everything set up, and it will be Eriror versus Humbug for a best of 3. Two really amazing runners. This matchup really, really should be something to look forward to. Until then, have a good rest of your weekend.